Hey friends, Ash here with Gents with another fragrance review. This is a little bit of a bonus video. I got this fragrance in the mail last week. I was not expecting it. I wasn't even told it was going to arrive, so it was a complete surprise to me. It is Wicked Good by Gallagher Fragrances. I've been giving this fragrance some wear, and I wanted to shoot just my quick thoughts on this video and go ahead and get this out there. This is a fragrance that's actually right now available for pre-order, so this one officially isn't even out yet. So a shout out to Daniel Gallagher for sending this to me. As usual though, it does not affect my views on this fragrance whatsoever. I'm gonna let you know the good and the bad about this one and let you know whether it's something that you should or should not pre-order. So let's jump into this. Alright guys, first the presentation. I'm just gonna bring it up close to you, show it to you that way. It's a little bit easier. First off, let's check out this box. Here it is. It is a small box like you would expect because this is a 30 milliliter size bottle or 1 fluid ounce. So you've got the name of the fragrance, the Gallagher Fragrances logo right here, and then the 3 main notes of this fragrance. Or really just the 3 notes in this fragrance at all. There's nothing on the top or the sides, and here you've got the back with just a little bit of information on the fragrance. And here you've got the bottom of the box, and look at that, not tested on animals, thumbs up. Now let's check out this little bottle. Here you go, it has a miniature sticker on the front with the name of the fragrance, the logo, and the notes, similar to what you'll see on the front of the box. The cap on these little bottles is not magnetic, which you shouldn't really expect them to be, but on the full 100 milliliter size bottles, they are magnetic from Gallagher Fragrances. And there you have the back of the bottle. And you can see here the color of the fragrance is really nice, very dark and rich. One thing before I jump into the fragrance itself, a little bit of backstory on this scent. This was originally a limited edition release by Gallagher Fragrances. It originally came in a 9 milliliter size, so basically a decant size bottle, and that ran for $37.50 when this was on its original limited edition run. Apparently it was really well received, it sold out, and then Daniel Gallagher, the owner perfumer of Gallagher Fragrances, decided to bring it back and make it part of his normal lineup of fragrances. So the pre-order right now is for this size, 30 milliliters, and it's gonna run you 120 bucks if you want this. I did the math. It's technically a little bit cheaper, at least price per ml wise, with this normal edition release because it's running you $4 per milliliter. Previously, it was about $4.17 per milliliter. Now this is both good and bad because the people that bought the original limited edition release were probably expecting that to be it. So that's why they bought in at that price, right? So they were expecting, I'm gonna get this Wicked Good, it's not gonna come out again, and I'm gonna have something that nobody else has. And because of its popularity, now it's getting a normal release. So there is the potential that some of those people that bought it originally are going to be a little bit annoyed. But at the same time, if it's something that was really well received and a lot of people wanted it and didn't get their hands on it, yeah, it could be their fault. Like maybe they should have just splurged and got it originally. But at least now they're going to be able to experience it and buy it themselves. So I get both sides of that, I understand, and I also completely understand Daniel Gallagher wanting to release this, considering it was well received, it was popular, and people wanted it. So yeah, it makes sense. Now the reason it's only coming in this 30 milliliter size, which I'll talk about a little bit more as we go on, is because of the vanilla that's used here. It's not really feasible to make this a 100 milliliter size bottle. I didn't enunciate very well. This fragrance is letting you know what it's all about just right from the package here. Chocolate, Madagascar vanilla, tonka bean. That's it. So ask yourself this question. Do you like Gourmand fragrances? Yes or no? If the answer is no, probably not gonna be for you. If the answer is yes, let's continue on a little more. Do you like fragrances heavily centered around vanilla? If the answer is yes, this could be a smash hit home run for you. If the answer is no, could be a little iffy. When you first spray this fragrance on, you get a big blast of milk chocolate, like a realistic milk chocolate note. It is a gourmand bomb. It is a chocolate and vanilla lover's dream, like straight up. It's deep and rich, and it's got the sweetness that you would expect from a vanilla and chocolate heavy fragrance, but the vanilla and the chocolate here is not really a syrupy or sugary sweet kind of take on those notes. And when you smell this from the atomizer, you get that chocolate and it smells just awesome. It smells so good. The vanilla here is really prominent early on. You pick it up almost immediately, comes in with that chocolate, and though the chocolate is the main note at first, the vanilla overtakes it and then stays that way for the rest of the life of the fragrance. As well, the tonka note that's used here is a really obvious choice, but it absolutely works. Tonka is a note that's used heavily in fragrances, extremely heavily. Tonka can come across smelling like vanilla, so a lot of times people will say, oh, that smells like vanilla in a scent, but it's actually tonka. Tonka can sometimes be a little bit powdery, sometimes comes across like it has a hint of spice to it, and it just melds perfectly with the chocolate and the vanilla in this fragrance. As you hit the mid into the dry down, this is basically vanilla with tonka all the way, with chocolate underneath. A fantastic smelling vanilla note, and the vanilla here used is Madagascar Vanilla Absolute. That is a very, very expensive ingredient. That's why this is such an expensive fragrance. Typically vanilla in fragrances is going to be vanillin, which is not actually vanilla. It's a synthetic take on vanilla. It smells similar, but it's way, way, way cheaper. Vanillin actually comes in crystal form, and it's very, very inexpensive. You can buy that from a number of websites that sell ingredients for perfumery, such as the Perfumer's Apprentice. Basically, you get that in, the vanillin, the little crystals, you dissolve that into some perfumer's alcohol, can't speak English, and you're good to go. But real actual vanilla, taken from vanilla pods, that's a different animal completely, and that is what is in here. I was doing some reading on Gallagher Fragrance's website about this fragrance, and Daniel Gallagher says that this fragrance uses more naturals than any of the other fragrances that he's made. So he actually says that this fragrance may not perform, may not project, or last as long as a lot of the other fragrances that he's made because those have more synthetic ingredients, which a lot of times those synthetics can really boost your performance. Things like Isoi Super, Ambroxan, etc., etc. Those synthetic notes that have a really strong fixative property, those aren't utilized in here. So you may think, oh, this is going to be a Gourmand bomb, just a fantastic vanilla chocolate fragrance, but then it won't last and it won't project. But off my skin, it's actually really, really good. So I don't have that issue at all. I don't know if maybe when he was wearing this that he had bad performance and that's why he put that on the website, but for me it's actually above average. It projects really well for the first couple of hours, quite strong initially, and then it settles into a nice personal scent cloud that lingers for 7-8 hours. So I wouldn't say that it's an insane performer. It's not something that's beast mode that's going to fill up a room and choke people out and everything like that, but it's not weak at all. One issue that I could see with this fragrance is that it is really gourmand, like I've talked about. So some people are probably not going to want to smell that way necessarily because you're going to smell edible. For some people that could be good. You're gonna want to smell edible. But for other people who don't like smelling like vanilla and chocolate, not gonna be for you. I've said a number of times that vanilla is one of my favorite notes in fragrances, period. So for me, it's a love, because this one is built basically entirely around that Madagascar Vanilla Absolute, which I love. This one does not change a ton from the opening to the dry down. The biggest change that it makes off my skin is from the opening into the mid, where the chocolate is the most dominant note and then kind of falls back a little bit and lets the vanilla take over. After that though, it stays pretty much the same off my skin. In terms of when I would wear this fragrance, it's gonna be more of a fall and wintertime fragrance. And that shouldn't really be too much of a surprise. In the middle of summer, I probably am not going to want to smell like a big bowl of chocolate and vanilla. And it's something I would wear either day or night, just so long as the weather is on the cooler side of things. Ultimately, this is probably going to come down to that price, because it is not a cheap fragrance. $120 for 1 ounce. You're paying a premium for that Vanilla Absolute. Absolutely. Absolutely. Gallagher Fragrances, though, do have 2 milliliter samples of this fragrance for $9. So that's only $4.50 per milliliter. It's only a little bit more per mil than the full bottle is. I would think that's your best bet. I think anybody out there who really, really loves chocolate vanilla gourmand fragrances, if that's a love that you have, you should sample this. Absolutely, 100%. If you really love it after you wear that sample, go ahead and pick up a bottle. I know that Daniel Gallagher has said that basically the pricing and the availability of this fragrance is going to center around the Madagascar Vanilla. So if it becomes really hard to get, if you have a big shortage, this fragrance could either go away or it could go up in price. So just be aware of that. Assuming the vanilla supply stays as is, then this is supposed to be part of his core collection. So it's supposed to be a fragrance that's going to be around, but you never know. At least as far as the vanilla supply goes. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap up my thoughts on Gallagher Fragrance's Wicked Good. In my opinion, if you like vanilla, if you like chocolate, the name is not lying in this case. As of right now, as of this video, this is my favorite release the Gallagher Fragrances / Daniel Gallagher has ever done. Of course, it's a little bit of low-hanging fruit because, like I've said, I'm a vanilla lover. I love the taste of vanilla, I love the smell of vanilla, I just love it. Period. That's why this one appeals to me so much. But if you said that I could keep this 30 mil or I could keep every other fragrance of his that I own, I would let you take all of those and I would just keep this one. Take that however you will, but this one, super, super good. I'll leave a link in the description to Gallagher Fragrance's website if you want to go check that out, look at the samples and all that stuff. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys again next time. See you guys.